Alright, went for a cruise. Car started running a little weird. Thought it might have been a intercooler pipe that blew off, but it was still running. So we were out on the road. I turned around real quick, ended up overheating really bad, and blew off a coolant hose. Had to leave the car there and then where it was, and ended up towing it back actually with that truck right there and this little strap. But what happened was a alternator tensioner bracket failure. I don't know if you can see down there, but it's just hanging down. Basically what happened is I put the bolt in that goes into the alternator through the bracket, and I'm pretty sure it was stripped out because it didn't get too tight, but I just ran it anyway and it loosened up. Alternator shifted all the way down and lost the belt. Also lost the water pump pulley. You can see the belt's all shredded right there. So I'm going to try and just slap a new belt on, fill it back up with coolant, and see how bad I hurt the motor. I got the power steering belt off. You can see this is the belt that, I guess this was stuck on the crank or something, just spun and ripped it off or something. Real quick though, I was just spinning the water pump pulley here to make sure everything sounded good, and it didn't. It sounded like there's almost like a little, I don't know, maybe contact noise or something, but it almost sounded like it was something on the outside. And then I spun it the other way and I heard a clunk and everything stopped. But now it feels like it's spinning smooth. So I probably need a new water pump, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this belt on and see if I hear any crazy noises, and probably have to clean out this pulley as well because there's some gunk in there. And just, like I said, see what happens. Okay, this was the bolt that was in the alternator where the tensioner was. It is a M8 by 1.25 if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's the one that's supposed to be in there. It obviously doesn't fit. I guess it's stripped out. The threads look okay in the alternator, but it doesn't tighten down. So I have a M10 by 1.5, and I'm just gonna drill it out and tap it out. I've got a right angle drill with a 11/32 drill bit. Little dog helper.
All right, 11/32 drill bit, closest to 8.8 millimeters, which should give us about 60% thread on our M10 by 1.5 tap. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of drill that out real quick, tap it, and I can get that right angle drill in there. So I just disconnected the battery up there and just unbolted the alternator at the top. I left all the wires connected on the back, so I'm just gonna try and drill it out.
So I ended up taking the whole alternator out. I just couldn't get it done in there, and I actually ended up tapping this out a little bit at an angle. I tried going in from the front, still didn't work. Tried going in from the other side back here, and I just couldn't get it straight in, but there are some threads in there. It does seem like it's holding, so I'm gonna throw it all back. Quick tip, there's a little press fit bushing right here on the pivoting side of the alternator, and if you use some channel locks or maybe even some a little hammer and push that bushing in just a little bit to the outside, it makes putting the alternator in a little bit easier. Got some more great news here. This M10 bolt doesn't fit through the slot in the tensioner by a decent amount, and I don't think I want to force this in there and mess up the threads on the bolt, then mess up the bad threads back in the alternator. Alright, went to the store, got some new bolts. I got actually the same size M8 by 1.25 by 40, or no, by 30, 30 millimeters. I'm going to try this. I think it should stick through the back of the alternator, but if not, I did get the longer size as well, and a little nut and lock washer. So, alright, the new Gates 9400 belt is on. Just need to tension the alternator bracket and then tighten everything down. So we'll see if we can get a decent amount of tension. Alright, we're all tensioned up, fair amount of tension on the belt. The bolt from the tensioner to the block is tight, and the two bolts holding the alternator to the alternator pivot point where the mount is are tight. The only thing is loose is the actual tensioner bolt that I just replaced right down there. But I was getting horrendous belt squeak before, so I want to try and eliminate that as I'm going back together here now. So I am going to put a little bit of coolant in, see if it'll start, and See how bad the belt squeak is. Alright, I did spill some coolant and stuff on the belt, so that's a contributing factor, but let's see how bad the belt squeak is. Seems like the battery's completely dead. No, I just forgot to plug it in. Attempt number 2. Squeak is gone, but it definitely isn't quite running as good as it was, even at idle. I might try and actually warm it up and see if I can get it to idle a little bit better. Also put the power steering belt on as well, make sure that doesn't squeak, and then we'll do some more diagnostic. All right, I did get it up to temp real quick. We got the power steering belt on. I did fill it up with coolant. Probably needs to be bled a little bit more. It is running and idling. It definitely feels a little bit different at idle, so I'm sure a head gasket or a valve is not completely sealed somewhere. You can see how bad my blow-by is. I did just wash it off, so there's some remnants of water and degreaser all in the engine. You can hear it kind of dip down right there. That could be the tune, it could be the blown head gaskets, could be burnt valves, I don't know. So it is back together and running for the most part right now. I might take it on a little test drive once I get the coolant bled all the way and see how it does.